The Industry 101. Welcome to the Industry 101, where if you have questions, I'll get you answers. I'm your host, Robbie Jenkins, and in this episode, we're going to deviate from our regular format. And this was inspired by 3 questions that came in actually from the same city, Oakland, California. These viewers submitted questions dealing with the COVID-19 impact on the music industry, and we thought that it would make more sense to answer all 3 in the same episode than to separate them. So in honor of those questions and those viewers who sent them, and also in honor of those who are impacted directly by the COVID-19 pandemic, we're calling this episode the COVID-19 Special Edition. And I've asked some friends of mine to come along and answer some of these questions along with me. Our first question has to do with the music industry's potential plan to assist artists with generating revenue, since conventional touring and live music is totally out of the question right now. So I've asked music industry vet Doe to join us in giving us his insight on what this could potentially look like now and continuing into our future. Let's take a listen to what he had to say. Okay, welcome to the Industry 101, where if you have questions, I'll get you answers, and I'm your host, Robbie Jenkins, and today we have a special guest that's joined us to address a question that came in from one of our viewers, and his name is Doe. Doe, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Doe. I own Build Your Buzz magazine. I've managed artists over the years. The last couple of artists I've managed was from Love and Hip Hop, Lyrica Anderson, A1 Bentley, Young Bird. I've been in the game doing concerts and tours for about 20 years. So, now I just opened my own streaming platform called the Doe Network, and we'll be doing live streaming concerts from there.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day and on such short notice to join us for today. It was very important. So we have a question that came in from one of our viewers out in Oakland, California. And this is from GJ in Oakland, California, who says and asks, what is the music industry's plan to help artists generate revenue since live music and touring appears to be out of the question until 2021? That's a huge question. I couldn't have picked a better person to give a perspective on that. So what do you think about that question, Ron? Go.
Well, honestly, it is a great question, but it's simple. With all the streaming platforms nowadays, these artists can do streaming concerts, as you see online right now. Teddy Riley versus Babyface. Last night was Ludacris versus Nelly. Then you had Jill Scott versus Erykah Badu, T-Pain versus Lil Jon. You can do things like that and have everybody cash app you a couple of dollars. You ain't gonna get the full price what you can, but that's another way for them to make money. And what they need to do too is, while everybody is paying attention to social media, it's your real opportunity to continuously drop music and keep your relevancy. Because if you don't stay active, once it opens back up, the people that stayed active are the ones that's going to get the shows and the tours. Because right now, you're not. What's going to get you active and stay active is social media,
right?
Through all the streaming platforms, and that's the key for them. They have to stay active in order so when everything opens back up, they can continue to tour and show. And I feel once it opens back up, a lot of people are still going to be kind of hesitant. There'll be people that'll go, but they won't be like knock down, drag out how it used to be with tickets sold out in a matter of minutes, because people are still going to be scared and nervous. So you have to create those other ways and those platforms to go viral, which is keeping your music abreast and doing your own shows in your own home and different things. Anthony Hamilton did it. There's a few artists that did it. So that's the way to stay relevant in the game and continue for them to make some money for themselves. They make their money off of streaming and doing their own little shows like that. And for my network, we will be doing going to artists and setting up shows and doing streaming, like the one-on-one type of thing with the artists interviewing and having them perform. So that's what we're doing. But those are the ways that they can stay relevant, because touring and stuff like that, the way this looks, it doesn't look good. Because next thing you know, it's going to be something else that comes about, and soon, the question should be how a Live Nation and everyone else are going to stay afloat, because without those things, that's their money, that's their revenue. So, especially artists that are signed to Live Nation and locked into those contracts, those are the ones you have to be worried about, because now they can't do the streaming platforms and do the streaming shows because they're locked in with Live Nation.
Right.
So, in the AEG, so that's where the problem comes in for those artists. So,
And that's funny, because one of the things I constantly say is that we have to prepare for the new normal. And so some of the things that we're doing right now just to stay relevant may actually become normal, moving forward. It's new normal to us who have been pre-COVID-19 and did things a completely different way. But now moving forward, some of these things may stay on board and may be in addition to some of the things that actually phase back in. And so to that, I want to ask you a question about, how does someone who is a new artist, just new to the whole game, maybe they just came up with some new music that they want to push out there, how do they go about acquiring a fan base that will make them relevant enough where people will actually come view them and see their live online concerts or shows that they're doing?
Well, the key thing for that is a new artist, he has to promote his social media, take out social media ads and campaigns. And if he does a video, which is, kind of hard right now to be a limited type video, but place it strategically. Like, he has to have a rollout campaign to make it worth it. Do shows like yours, other online shows, and do these Snapchats, and there's this new thing, TikTok, that everybody does, make songs to do videos off his own song with that TikTok and help, hopefully, in case that it goes viral. Drake did that right foot and left foot and that Tootsie song, and then went viral in a matter of couple of days. Not everybody is Drake, but if you have something that's catchy, people will, gravitate to it.
Right.
So that's the way.
So that would be the way to get started, and then continuously just kind of promote it throughout the other platforms. Perhaps maybe it's a thing where they'll have multiple accounts on different platforms and they can just kind of push it that way.
And it'll help them go viral. Do a lot of interviews, do a lot of, there's a lot of people doing the same thing you're doing right now, is, virtual interviews. Sign up for the virtual interviews, let the online radio stations and stuff play your music since it's virtual, and you the interview there. Those are the key ways, because everybody's paying attention to online stuff and streaming right now, which is the key. So if you're a new artist, that would be one of the perspectives the way I would go with as far as a rollout campaign. Seek a lot of things like that.
Right. So basically, this is like an opportune time for anybody who's really starting out, because now you have a captive audience. There's a lot of people that are home and they have nothing else to do, and a lot of them are online searching for things. So with that being said, I just want to direct the attention. You mentioned something about some of the concerts where there have been artists not necessarily doing battles per se, but they're in the friendly competition, so to speak, just kind of comparing music and going back and forth. And that's apparently been generating a lot of attention. I mean, I saw the Babyface and Teddy Riley one, both of whom I've met before. That was pretty good. I saw
700,000 people.
Yes, it is. So, and that's the thing I want to speak to, is that you can really, if you do this right, you can really generate a lot of following and a lot of people that are coming on board to find out about you.
Yeah. Well, especially now that people don't have a lot of things to do, everything is limited. So, and in a day and age where people's phone is like a part of their hand.
Right.
So, if you have a built-in audience, it's like it's right then and there right now. Everything is right for the taking, especially older artists still have fan base, but newer artists that's coming out right now, people are always looking for the next big thing because their attention spans are not like they used to be before. An artist put out a record, they're hot with a single for 8 months, 6 to 8 months now.
Right.
Now your single is good for 30 to 60 days and you have to put out another one because it's microwavable music, because you get it so quick.
Right.
So if these artists have 2 or 3 records, I always tell an artist, you got a hot record? Okay, what's your follow-up record? Before you put that hot record out, what is your follow-up record? Because the first record is what's going to get you there. The second record is what's going to help keep you there.
Right. That's right. And it is extremely more difficult, like you were saying, about music videos, right? Some artists are really going to be struggling with that. I mean, myself, I have something coming out next month, and I'm still kind of up in the air about how I'm going to do that. Got a music video director who's in place, ready to go. So we're kind of being creative about the concept and how we're going to put it together. What do you say to that specifically, to any artists coming out now?
You got to be real strategic. If you're shooting in public, especially, be real strategic, because you don't want them to shut you down in large crowds gravitating, because people, if they see something, they're going to stop and pay attention.
Doe, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your input, and I'm sure our viewers do too, especially GJ out in Oakland, California. I'm sure that has, gave him some direction and some guidance that he or she didn't have. And we thank you for being a guest. We hope that you'll come back and join us again soon.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Good. Maybe the next time we can come back and talk about build your business.
Buzz. Definitely. There you go. Yeah.
Thanks again. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Our next question deals with the monetization of virtual concerts post-COVID-19. So I've asked professional musician Gene Lake to come on board and provide some insight for us. Let's take a listen. Okay, have a new guest that joined us now to answer our second question for this episode. And his name is Gene Lake. Gene, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Gene, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I'm a drummer, for folks that don't know. And over the years, I've released a few CDs under my own name, but people would probably most know me from, playing with David Sanborn and Michelle and Deggio-Cello. Those two I've toured the most, I think, with those two acts. I've toured with several other artists like, Marcus Miller and Joe Zawinul. Did some stuff with Surface, the R&B group, which is how Rob and I met,
Right.
And then we're also, alums from Berklee College of Music. So that, that's a short little piece of my background.
That was heavy.
Yeah.
As short as it was, you just covered a whole span of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool. So, Gene, thank you. First of all, thank you for coming. And just want to jump right into a question that came from Oakland, California. This came from MF in Oakland, California. And MF wants to know, Erykah Badu and Jill Scott brought in over 700,000 viewers during their 3-hour live stream. Do you think post-quarantine, these virtual concerts can be monetized?
That's an interesting question. I would think they probably, you mean like it will, in terms of like having people pay to get access to the...
Right, pretty much, I'm assuming pretty much the way that people pay to go to concerts prior to all of this, is it possible for there to be a way to have people pay to attend these virtual concerts?
Yeah, I think it's been done already. I think it's been done already by certain, venues. I know there's a venue here by a good friend of mine named Matthew Garrison here in Brooklyn, New York. It's called Shapeshifter Lab, and people would do these webcasts, right? And I know he was charging folk to say, have access to any concert that was happening at his venue on any particular night. And so, yeah, straight away the answer is yes. And folks have already been doing this. Venues have already been doing this kind of thing. It's just that, like you say, when we're in this COVID-19 moment, where this is primary way in which people are getting access to live music. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So basically, what you're saying is that there's already been some pioneers in that area, without even having the forethought of this could be a necessity in the industry now.
Exactly. We've hit a moment where, there's been some snags technically trying to do this kind of webcasting, these live webcasts, and so now we're in a moment here where people would really like to take advantage of that technology and the capability of broadcasting the concert. Of course, if you're aware of the Jill Scott thing, I'm sure you're aware of the sort of debacle, if you will, with the Babyface and Teddy Riley.
Yeah, right.
That was, I wouldn't say it was a debacle to me. I mean, obviously Teddy was, he was trying to take advantage of being able to reach so many people at once,
Right.
possibly millions. They had a lot of people,
Right.
signing up. I think Jill Scott is known as what, might have, maybe almost 1 million people, overall, viewing this back and forth of them playing all the hits and songs and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's an interesting moment, to be able to say, because I think what Teddy was trying to do was reach, like I say, all the people, and it would have been, all these, maybe almost 1 million people. And I think I'd seen something where Timbaland and what's the other guy he's been working in tandem with? He's married to Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
They said altogether there might have been 3 million people.
Wow.
That were watching. This might have been a month ago, I guess, the Babyface were trying to do, and Teddy was trying to do this thing on a Saturday, it didn't work, and then that following Monday they got it to work, and there were well over 1 million people.
Right.
So when I saw that, and I logged in through Babyface's Instagram, and when I saw, and he had 500,000 people on his. Right. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I see why Teddy was trying to do a live presentation. Right. He was trying to, because you have all these people here, mm-hmm. and you could totally, get your message out through your music and reach a bunch of people, through your music. So, yeah, I do think that, technologically, that this is probably in the forefront of a lot of different, app developers' minds right now, being able to, like I said, we were speaking off the camera, I was telling you that, having these programs that will allow musicians to even play it simultaneously through these different apps over the web, and to be in sync and not having any latency. So, yeah, there are lots of different developers right now to try to really get this going and make it simple, because we don't have we don't have an app that's, ergonomically, that's kind of like a McDonald's style app where you plug and play and it's easy to operate, and you know what I mean? And
right.
like, I call you up, boom, and we set up and we play together and it's easy. So I think once they work out all the kinks and get that going, we're going to see, to your point, which I'm hearing behind the question, I think we're going to see more of this online after this COVID-19 moment and beyond,
right.
And going forward, rather.
Thank you for coming on and taking the time to address that question. And I'm sure that MF from Oakland, California appreciates you too. And we have to get you come back on and we'll do a full interview.
Cool, man.
All right.
I hope I wasn't too long-winded.
No. Perfect. Nope, perfect.
Yeah.
It was straight and to the point. But thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for coming, and we hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Rob Jenkins. All right, man. Same to you, bro. All right. Take care.
So our third and final question has to do with two trends specifically that are getting a lot of attention in the music industry right now. artists and fans alike are just clamoring to it. So I've asked a hip hop legend to come and join me and giving some insight about hip hop in general, about the music industry, and also what about these trends? Do you think they'll still be around after the pandemic? Take a listen. We have another guest with us, an honorary guest. I'm going to just pretty much say his name, and I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. His name is DJ Tony Crush from the legendary Cold Crush Brothers. Thank you, Tone, for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
How you doing, sir? I'm from the Bronx, one of the old cats now that helped start hip hop culture from the Bronx. Early 75, 76. Started off with a group called the Brothers Disco, DJ Barron, DJ Breakout, Funky 4 Plus 1. Later on, started a group called the Cold Crush Brothers, Charlie Pace, Grandmaster Cass, DJ Z, JDL, Almighty KG. Been in the game, still in the game, still trying to do what I can for the culture of hip hop, not for rap or all that other stuff, for the whole culture. You know, trying to think and share knowledge, try to live a positive, humble life. You know, that's who I am.
All right. Well, thank you for all you've done to get the culture launched from the very beginning. And I think it's noted that we should say that you have an actual exhibit at the African American History Museum in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. Is that correct?
Yes. They came to me and asked me, did I want to be a part of the Smithsonian, the African American part? And at first I said no, but then they mentioned Emmett Till name, so I thought about it, and I had heard about Emmett Till as a kid, so I changed my mind and I said yes.
We're in a phase now because of the COVID-19 virus that's spreading, the pandemic, where we actually have to be pioneering again in terms of how we're going to do things, how we're going to do music. So I have a question that came in from one of our viewers, and this came in from MG of Oakland, California. And MG writes, what is your perspective on the IG Live and IG DJ parties, those trends beyond COVID-19, and who do you think will win? So in other words, which one of those two trends will continue even after this pandemic is over? What is your opinion about that?
But I think, it's helping right now. And I think when this die down, I think some of it's going to keep going because some people are going to get used to it. And a lot of people are scared to go out. They don't want to go out. They want to feel safe, but they still want to hear the music. So people are going to keep it going. I think a lot of the lesser DJs is going to fall off. But stronger DJs that's really playing the music, because I watch some of them, and it's like some DJs look like they practicing and they playing for themselves. But people that are really playing for the people, I think they're gonna keep on going because people know they can go there and hear music. They're not just playing the everyday stuff. They playing the stuff that ain't being played on the radio no more. They play it easy, listening. They letting the record play out. They're not cutting and scratching the record. They play out. Like my friend, David Daniels III, and he does all slow records. And he got people from Brazil, people from West Coast, East Coast, North Carolina, tuning in and staying on with him because he's playing the genre of music that they grew up on and they don't hear that much. So I think people like him are going to be able to do it throughout, because he's building a following that want to hear what you don't hear no more.
Right.
So and he's teaching while he's doing it. He's teaching them who the group is, who plays sax. He letting the music play, but he's teaching them.
Right.
And asking questions, and and people was like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. So they happy that he's doing that.
Right.
When you got dudes that they playing for themselves, and they like they practicing and stuff, they a lot of them go fall off, because people are only going to gravitate to the people they know, or people that are well established doing it.
Right. So basically, good music is good music regardless of the genre, and expand your horizons, basically. That's cool. Tone, thank you so much for joining us, and we
For having me.
Yeah, and we look forward to having you come back again on another time.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation, and thank you for having me, and thank your listeners for chiming in.
Absolutely. Don't take care, be safe, and give my best to the family.
Thank you, brother. You too.
All
Peace.
right. Peace. Thank you, DJ Tony Crush. Thank you so much for that insight, and I always have a good time talking to you. You have so much to share and so much insight. There's just never enough time to get it all. But we thank you for spending time with us in this episode to talk about such an important issue. So in closing, I hope that the information that we provided here today was helpful, insightful, and encouraging. Something that those are the things I think we really need during this pandemic and us dealing with it. And I think the most important message is that we stick together as a community. Music is about community. And I think by pulling together and pulling our resources together, that we should be able to not just survive this, but when we get to the other side of it, be able to really prosper. So on that note, I say thank you again for joining the Industry 101 class, and come back and see us again next time. I'm your host, Robbie Jenkins, wishing you well, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon. God bless you.
Stay home.